In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price spoke to reporters for the first time this morning in a while, and the Habs have just picked up another goalie off the waiver wire. I got all the latest news, and that's coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If this is your first time here, welcome. We analyze and review all 31 NHL teams with an unbiased opinion. So if you love hockey, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss anything going forward. So here's the latest news on Carey Price. Carey Price spoke to reporters for the first time just earlier this morning, just a few hours ago, to update his health and his injury status. When the news first broke and I first saw the interview with Price, I thought we were actually going to get some real information. But the secrecy around this injury continues. The only thing we really learned was that the injury happened during warm-up and the last time he played, which was a 6-3 loss against the Minnesota Wild. Apparently the injury happened during warm-up and he didn't think it was all that serious. After playing that night and then going to bed, he woke up the next morning realizing it was much worse than he originally anticipated. So we don't really know anything further. All he would really say was it's taking longer than expected to come around, and that due to the nature of his position of a goaltender, that it's just something that's taking longer than he had hoped for. Obviously, we still don't really know exactly what the injury is. All they've said is lower body, which can be a variety of things. Could be a knee, ankle, groin. It's hard to really say. And we really don't know anything any further there. And to me, when you watch the interview with Carey Price, he just doesn't seem quite right. Like his body language is off, and I realize he's been out injured. There's been lots of questions, and maybe he's just not really sure what to say. I understand sometimes they don't want to reveal too much about injuries, but it just seemed like a really odd interview. And I'm just really confused and not sure why the Habs are being so secretive when it comes to this. I mean, just like before, the last time Carey Price was out long term, I mean, look what happened. They made everybody believe that it was going to be a short-term injury. It wasn't all that serious, nothing to worry about. Every time he asked for an update, it kept dragging on, and look how long he ended up being out. So it's really hard to say what's going on here, and I don't understand why the Habs are being so secretive. I've seen a variety of reports around the Price situation over the last couple of weeks, and I've seen a variety of people giving the Habs and Price quite a bit of flack for not revealing a little bit more information about the injury and being so secretive. So I'd like to know, what do you think? Do you think that he should be revealing anything further about the injury, or do you think how they've handled this is sufficient? Leave your comments down below. I'm very curious to see what you think. Personally, I don't think they should have to go into the exact fine details, but to go a little bit more specific than what they have here, to kind of give their fan base something to go on, I think would really go a long way. Based on what's happened in the past with this player and his injuries and what went on the last time, I think they need to be a little bit more transparent with their fans so that they understand what's going on. It's just that simple. And right now, they just look like they're being secretive and they're hiding something. So obviously with backup goaltender Al Montoya down with a concussion and out indefinitely, they've been mainly going to Charlie Lindgren as their main goaltender. Obviously the other option was Zach Fucale, and obviously they were a little hesitant, it seems like, to go with both of them as their 1-2 punch here while Price and Montoya recover. So they've gone to the waiver wire for help, and they've come back with Antti Niemi, who was just placed on waivers for the second time in the last couple of weeks from the Florida Panthers. So Habs fans, if Niemi has to step in the net, you better be prepared for some blowout losses. You know, earlier this season when Price was playing really bad and the losses were piling up and he was letting in lots of goals, well, get used to that, if not worse, with Niemi. He's had a terrible, terrible track record so far in the last couple of seasons, but this year's been especially bad. He started the season with the defending Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins, and every time he played, they got blown out. Even with all that offensive power in front of him, he still couldn't stop a beach ball to keep that puck out of the net. It's just, I'm not sure what they're doing here. I mean, really for Niemi, I'm sure is going to be the backup to Lindgren. I understand they probably want a little bit of insurance, but really, Antti Niemi, he's not the answer. And really, how long are you going to need this guy? I mean, this guy's going to be bouncing around on waivers all season by the looks of it. Eventually, at some point, you would think Price and Montoya would both be back. Then you have the debate of whether or not Lindgren stays over Montoya, if he keeps up a good play, and he's played pretty decent so far. So you have that. So you have three guys who can play. You have two that are injured. Why wouldn't you just let Fucale play the role of backup, get him a taste of the NHL, and see how things go. You might have to give him a game or so. It doesn't sound, based on the Carey Price interview this morning, that he's going to be out too long. But then again, I also just said that you can't believe anything they say because they're just being ridiculous and secretive. So, Niemi, really? I don't understand. So Habs fans, tell me, what do you think? Do you think this is absolutely ridiculous? Do you think picking up Niemi was just a huge mistake? I hope for your sake and for Habs fans out there that you don't have to put him in the net, because it's almost guaranteed to be a blowout loss. So just to finish up this video on one last thought. As I mentioned, the Carey Price information on his injury seems to be really weird. It seems like they're being secretive and not disclosing everything. And then they go and pick up Antti Niemi all within the same day. Does that not seem really strange to you that in one case they're saying, oh, it's okay, it won't be out very long, I just had a little, taking a little longer to heal, but then within a matter of a couple of hours they pick up another veteran goaltender on waivers? Just seems to me that I think they're expecting him to be out longer than short term. That's just seems weird to me, but that seems like what's going on. Obviously they've been getting pretty decent goaltending under Lindgren, and it just doesn't make sense to me to go get a guy like Niemi if it's only going to be short term. If we're talking a couple of more games and then Price can return, and even if Montoya is going to be out longer, they could go with Price and Lindgren. It doesn't make sense to bring Niemi into the fold. So, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Do you think they're being secretive and that some of the information they're releasing is not accurate, or they're just not telling us everything? Or what are your thoughts? I'm sure you're not too excited for Niemi based on his recent track record. So leave me some comments down below. What do you think on the move on Niemi? And what do you think is really going on with Carey Price? If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you want to keep up with all the latest NHL hockey news, hit that subscribe button in the middle of your screen and keep watching Top Shelf Hockey.